Hi, this is Louise Smart from emotionaldetox.com, and I'm going to be sharing with you today all about understanding the energetics of trauma and healing trauma. So I'm going to be talking about trauma regarding its healing and recovery, not just as textbook therapeutics. What I'm talking about is really backed up by first-hand experience of my own childhood trauma and from a history of treating patients at the stress management unit at London Bridge Hospital, and then working with my emotional detox and energy clearing clients spanning over 25 years in private practice. So my work with trauma now has progressed very much into energy and frequency alignment, but I do work with clients in the way that absolutely feels most comfortable to them. And that really varies from one person to another, because we're all so very different. And so trauma, when it's triggered from our past or a past life, or even an amalgamation of past lives, our solar plexus, the gut, can feel like it's on fire, and emotions and nerves become very fraught and highly intensified and much more sensitized. And it's very, very uncomfortable, even overwhelming, as you try to stay in control and keep going. So being triggered can also feel like as if the core of you is like shattered ice that strikes at you with stabs of terror in your gut and in your heart, as you at the same time are envisioning threatening or disastrous scenarios. Could that be loss, attack, criticism, abandonment, shame, guilt, failure, lack, illness, basically any type of adversity that you would prefer to avoid. That's what's going to set you off. It'll set off those horrible feelings by being triggered. Something reminds you and your body responds. So you get anxiety, fear, panic attacks, heart palpitations, and these can all quickly take you hostage at any moment. When a trigger episode is accompanied by acute or protracted insomnia, it's going to feel like you're feeling like you're being punished by life. And I really know how this feels too, firsthand. All of this post-traumatic triggering, it's a reactivity that occurs as a result of your survival instinct and the energetic circuitry running warning signals between your primitive brain, part of your brain called the amygdala, which stores memory of past threat and fear, and your solar plexus. So it's a circuitry between your amygdala in the brain and your solar plexus, your gut. It's a gut brain, actually, which is where we get what is known as our gut instinct from. And whilst our gut brain is a very useful functional organ linked to our intuitive faculties, which can signal warning in tandem with the amygdala to protect us from potential threat, the amygdala and the gut brain, they don't differentiate between a real threat and a trigger reaction from any unhealed and memory of your trauma from the past that is still embedded in your body's nervous system. So this protective circuitry is just primitively programmed to respond to any signal or threat or reminder of threat by flooding your body with a cocktail of stress hormones that feel like fear and panic, so that you do something to counter the threat, namely escape from it. Even if escaping means numbing yourself with toxic substances or distracting yourself with work or relationship dramas or manifesting crises to fix and resolve. Anything to escape the feeling, the same level of threat or fear or panic or terror, helplessness, hopelessness or abandonment, shame or entrapment, anything rather than feel those feelings like you did feel when you were first traumatized, or from multiple traumas that all live on inside of you. So it's really actually perfectly understandable that you've anesthetized yourself in order to cope. And basically, this primitive protective response overrides and hijacks our capacity for logic and rationale, and it frequently derails our self-care and self-preservation and doing what we know is healthy and nurturing for ourselves, And it can actually take days for this uncomfortable trauma trigger reaction to subside even 1 iota. And then we feel the burden of fatigue. In common physiological terms, this is a post-traumatic stress response intrinsically linked to the fight, flight, freeze reaction, biologically designed to help you to get away or avoid any perceived or real threat that reminds you of the original trauma, and to do this as fast as possible. This response has a huge downside when you consider how panic is a breeding ground for making mistakes and poor choices. Any aggression, fleeing to escape, or freezing up in fear, or as a tactic to be invisible, is like a self-fulfilling prophecy, because these biologically programmed responses invariably create more real problems and complexity in your life, because the people around you don't understand what's going on. And so you're very much on your own, trying to respond often from a sort of childhood response in an adult body, and trying to behave in a way that's socially acceptable when you're not really feeling in control. So real and lasting healing and resolution of trauma requires actually the gentle unraveling and discharge of the bound up charge of energies of the trauma wounding in your solar plexus and your nervous system that are keeping you energetically wired and on red alert for danger and any form of attack or abandonment, and therefore vulnerable to being re-triggered. So whilst all this bound up wound energy from trauma remains undischarged in your body, it actually blocks and distorts and fractures the vertical flow through the central axis of your body of the incoming intelligence, healing, power, love, and wisdom of your soul light. The good news is that your soul light, once you begin to work to unravel and clear this undischarged trauma energy, it will start to free you into a whole new experience that also comes from your soul's very own innate wholeness. So if you're ready to heal your trauma, what I'm going to suggest to you is to book a free connect call with me. The link will be in the drop-down box underneath this video or in the actual post itself. And in this free connect call, you can tell me all about your situation, and we can discuss how a set of emotional detox sessions by Zoom with the option of energy clearings can help you heal from trauma this life or from past life in a safe and loving way. And if you don't know what energy clearings are, they are quantum. In other words, energy clearing works across all time, dimensions, space, and realities. The clearing process that I do involves thorough research of your energy using a comprehensive set of charts to unravel the causal energetic imprints from past trauma that now needs healing and transformation. Energy clearing is a much more efficient process than just sitting with a therapist and trying to map your history from your memory, because energy clearing penetrates the deeper levels of your unconscious memory and goes into your soul records. And so really from this research, it's possible to make sense of where you are to date in your life and what your soul is trying to achieve by all its experiences to date, including trauma. So if you want to get in touch with me, please just click on the links that are in the post or underneath this video recording. And I very much look forward to meeting you again in a free connect call, or you can just contact me by email if you know that you want to work with me, and I'll just send you the link to an overview of what we would do together and the payment plans available. Okay, thank you very much for listening.